Okay, guys, welcome. We're going to give Weight of Crowns 5 a shot today. I know I've been a little focused on a bunch of other things. Here's a rundown. Basically, I'm going through an eviction process because when I started at Premier Fitness Solutions trying to restart my training career for Texas Movement Performance, I partnered with a Polish lady by the name of Karina something. She married a white guy named Jamie Philippi. Um, but they had a small little fitness center, and you can look at Karina. She's doing her best Alexander Mathai impression, Texas Movement impression now on TikTok, and you may find her on Instagram and Facebook too. She's got Facebook or whatever. Um, I was there for just under a year. But just like my parents at their educational institutions, Judson University, Bethel University, Anoka Ramsey, and Anoka Hennepin, um, I was really just gaslit into leaving. That's what happens when you kind of encounter the spiritual resistance that we've encountered. Eventually, it led to my mother's death. What I just realized recently is that there's been an attempt on my life several times. Here I was just thinking that we were going through life as normal people, but there were so many things. A lot of it has to do with a property dispute from my mother's inheritance. From what I understand, she's actually the only child, even though she's said to have seven siblings. So there's significant international fraud and forgery happening. If you pay attention to my Instagram, you can see that my father forged my mother's signature 184 days after her death on July 19th, 2023. And I started Hero in May 20th, 2023. And a lot of the Nike interference was to make sure that Hero was never viable. And I've shown you my track and field performance on my personal YouTube page, my Instagram pages in the past that have gotten taken down. And the Hero channel has some marketing stuff. I've got the TikToks going. Uh, all of this is because between myself and my mother, they just can't stand that someone who doesn't worship the devil and do the necromancy and do the cannibalism and do all the other weird things that you see on tour videos and stuff like that. Now, you saw the death certificate on my Instagram. The time of death was 7:55 a.m., but the coroner wasn't there that night, and nobody there was there that night except for the Asian guy Park that came out and said very haphazardly that mom was gone. That happened after we went to the gym, and the gym happened at like 5 p.m. So we were there from like 5:45 to about 10:30 p.m. And then we went back to my house. Remember, Samson came in my car to make sure that I was, not going to say anything about Jesse because I asked who Jesse worked for at that time. So, you know, you guys are going to have to forgive me because I'm trying to put this stuff together on the fly. I don't know who's fucking my mother's corpse after the fact. Okay? That's not something that we think about. That's fucking weird. You people are weird. Okay? But the more important thing is that Chase Bank, who Judith Kent and Jamie Dimon are responsible for, they are coordinating a fraud. Matthew Workus is the branch manager at Elgin Chase. Okay? Another Polish gentleman. So we've got Karina Philippi, Polish. We've got the Polish Slavic Credit Union right across the street from Premier Fitness Solutions. We've got Malgorzata, Margaret, or Gosha Zablotnia, who now you guys get to see all of our exchanges, our text message exchanges. I urge you to look at the court case because their attorney, Agnes Pogorzelski, who is a sibling of Daniel Pogorzelski of MWRD, who is currently withholding my unemployment insurance benefits, even though I've reported him to the Office of the Inspector General, even though Tom Novak of the Board of Appeals with IDES has called me back saying that they can't give me the transcript for the telephone hearing that I spoke for back on February 9th, indicating discrimination against myself and Sanjay Goel by Samuel Kaufman, who was another plant, an unlicensed engineer. I don't mean to bore you all with the technical details, but all I'm saying is to you is that this is why I don't fuck with white people. This is why I was willing to go through such an abysmal, embarrassing time at IIT trying to connect with the African American community. And hardy har har, the one drop rule still applies. So after 6 years at IIT, I go down and train with Ray Edwards, who refers me to John Eric Fountain, who refers me to Joey Ewick and Bob King. And by 2015 and early 2016, you can look on YouTube and see the kind of performances I was putting out in the kind of equipment that I was had access to, which is very similar to the kind of equipment I had access to at Anoka High School. I've done everything in my power to respect the people that raised me and gave me a life. Okay? But now that today's my birthday, I'm 38 years old. This is manhood, whether you're a Freemason or a secret society brotherhood or not. Okay? Now, I don't know what people have, done to me when I was sleeping. When I go to sleep after I have sex, I go to sleep because I don't have any negative desires to harm anybody. It's only other people that want to have kind of weird footage for their idolatry and their demonic, oppressive type of things. That's not me. I don't have any interest in those types of things. Okay? I don't want to get to know any of you. Frankly, if I was celibate for the rest of my life, I've proven everything I need to prove to myself. Okay? And if my father was in fact my biological father, I've honored him. If my brother was my biological brother and not my half brother, I've honored him. Okay? So I've respected every office of authority that's been put over me. Even Alquist, you worthless white fuck. I want you people to know that you did not break me. You did not even accomplish the thing. You have been just as impotent in this stage of your life, in this action, as you have been with every woman that you've paid to have sex with. I want you to know that. We laugh at you. Just like you imagine she laughs at you when she leaves your hotel room after you pay an exorbitant amount of money for the 30 seconds before you bust your pitiful nut. Okay? You're not talking to a child anymore. And I'm not bound by any oppressive Kerala village tactics anymore. We're going to explore exactly what Kochamichi was doing to create a second family around my mother, and exactly what drugging was done to keep my mother from being all that she could be. I pray that she is resting peacefully with the Lord. And I pray that any kind of necromancy that happened, I'll get a chance to see and duplicate. Okay? So I hope all the jokes were worth it. Okay, black people, you don't get a free pass just because you have some melanin. Maybe the Jews had a little bit of leverage on you, but a part of you enjoyed that. Okay? You were Halle Berry when Billy Bob Thornton asked you to shuck and jive. You asked him to make you feel good. Now I'm going to make me feel good. Okay? Okay?